Hey everybody, welcome back to the Nidus Anarchy series. I'm your host Adam, CIO and co-founder of Nidus, and today I want to talk about something that we all know, which is screen time is just destroying our kids. Now, I know this, and we've all been told this many times over, and it's, we always, when you don't have kids and you're out at dinner and you see some family with their kids and the kids are all just zoned out in front of a tablet or a phone, and you're just like, Psh, I would never do that if I had kids. Like, it's just, I can't believe that's unhealthy parenting. And then you have a kid and you're like, just shut up, just put the thing in front of your face so I can enjoy dinner for 5 minutes, please God. So I understand both sides. That's all I'm trying to say. Now I have 3 kids. I have a 13, a 9, and a 2. So I've gone through it, the whole spectrum of all the things. 2 of my kids have phones. The older 2 have like all the tech, right? That all kids do. The younger one doesn't have anything. Obviously, she's only 2. I don't know if I should say obviously. I don't know if that's obvious anymore. But anyway, around Christmas time, my wife and I were sitting out in the cave, and I had a kind of an epiphany. Let's just call it that. That's probably the best word for it, honestly. We're sitting there hanging out, and it's like, man, like, you know what the kids need? The kids need to be bored, because boredom, that's what makes you figure out things. Like, oh, I don't know what to do with myself. I better figure out how to do something. That's where creativity kind of comes about, right? Like the whole creative mindset sparks when you're bored. So I want to figure out something to do. I have time to kill. What am I going to do? I have this problem I need to solve, whether it's kill time or I need to make money because I'm broke, or I want those new shoes or whatever. I need to figure out how to make money. So there's always a reason to try and figure something out. But when you give your kids whatever they want all the time, they don't have that desire. They don't have that hunger or the creative need to learn. What I've also found out is kids, they really just don't have the wherewithal to just, like, common sense. It's like gone. I'm wondering, why don't they have it? Even in my own kids, like, what the hell's going on? How do they not understand this normal human interaction? Why are they completely oblivious to how this is supposed to work? And, it all comes down to they're never bored. And initially you're thinking like, oh, well, that's not bad. Boredom isn't really horrible, but I think it is. So speaking with my wife, I was like, you know what? We need to make our kids more bored. And I think if we make them more bored, we're going to see an adjustment in many different areas in a good way. And I was like, you know what? It's going to be a good social experiment. So with some hesitation and some pushback, I told my kids, hey, after New Year's, once you guys go back to school, we're going to limit screen time. We were already limiting it. I was trying all kinds of different things. I was saying, like, okay, you get screen time in the morning before school. While you're getting ready, you can, watch cartoons or whatever. And then when you get home from school, after you do your homework, then you can play on the phone, or you can watch YouTube, or you can, play Minecraft or Fortnite or whatever, whatever, all that kind of fun stuff. And so finally I was like, hey, you know what? Let's just kill it all together and see what happens. After, popping a couple Xanax, I'm just kidding. We don't take Xanax, but, just basically coming to grips that this could be a very trying time for all of us. And we all knew this. I told my kids at a time to brace them. I didn't want to just pop it on to them. I was like, hey, we're going to get rid of all electronics. So what we've moved to is this. There are no electronics being used at all in the house unless it's the weekends at night. That's it. That's the only time that they have access to electronics. Now, my older daughter, she has her phone, and she can take that around for communication only, text, phone calls, whatever. And I see with the screen time, I can see what she's doing to see if she's not. And she's a good kid. She's pretty responsible, so it's good. But the gist of it is no electronics of any kind. No TV, no phones, no tablets, no anything. It's all pure, original, old school, you're a kid, have fun, figure it out time, unless it's the weekends at night. So right now, they're happy because it's wintertime. So it's pitch black right now, and I think it's like 6 o'clock at night, so they're probably watching TV right now. But we noticed a massive difference in 2 days. I mean, a noticeable difference where both my wife and I were just looking at each other like, I cannot believe what is happening right now. They are so much better kids right now. It's crazy. And they're doing things that they should be doing. Since Christmas, it's what, like mid-January right now. My daughter has learned how to play the piano. No joke. Like all of a sudden I'm listening. I'm like, what is, I'm like, that's the Little Mermaid theme song. I'm like, what the hell? Yeah, she's playing the piano and she's got it down. My son has now been building crazy like little robotics things and playing around with that stuff. Way more proactive in helping out around the house and cleaning and saying, hey, can I help you do something? Hey, can we go do something together? We're now, it's crazy because it's so common sense that if you take away the electronics, everyone has to kind of play together. And that's the other thing too. I see my kids all playing together, having fun, laughing, creating fun memories and doing things, getting in trouble. I've had to yell at my kids now more than ever about doing dumb things, but it's kind of like the dumb things you want them to be doing. You know, it's the stuff that they're trying things out. They're figuring life out. They weren't doing that before. And when you break it down, it makes sense. Because at first I was always like, well, I watched TV a lot as a kid. Tons of TV, right? And I turned out fine. I played tons of video games. It's from Nintendo all the way until today. I've been playing video games, lots of them. So I was like, I think they're great. They help with hand-eye coordination, problem solving, figuring things out. In online games, you can play with each other. You know, there's all kinds of great benefits to video games. So I was always thinking, you know, video games are fine too. So all these things where it's like, oh, they're not, everyone's saying they're bad. I'm like, well, but they were good for me. Well, they're different, right? When we were kids, watching TV was whatever show was on. And then even then it was like, okay, well, this show sucks. Or there's the 10 o'clock news or the 6 o'clock news, or whatever it was, screw it. Or, you know, your dad comes in and it's like, oh, I'm watching the game. Get off the TV. So you have to go do something else. Or, no, it's a stupid show. Or, you know, you're just kind of pads on, but you're not really paying attention because it's really not that entertaining. You're like watching, it was like Mama's House or whatever, like those like crazy TV shows, Golden Girls and all those things where it's like you kind of watch it, but you're not. You're actually doing something else just kind of in the background. And then, so you weren't really watching TV all the time. And from video games perspective, it was like we would get like a new video game maybe once every 6 months. Basically, I'd get one for Christmas, I'd get one for my birthday, and maybe at the end of the school year, I'd get one for good grades. So I'd get a new game maybe 3 times a year. So I would play the shit out of that game. You know, it's like, so those games like Zelda and Final Fantasy, the ones that take forever to get, those are the ones you really wanted because they really kept you, you know, entertained for a longer period of time. And then we would obviously rent games. We go to Blockbuster or, you know, whatever the little family video place was that had video games for rent, and we rent Battletoads and all the other fun games, and you have it for a weekend, but that was it. So we'd play this new game and it'd be fun for like Friday, Saturday or whatever, and your friends sleep over and we'd be playing the game all night and trying to beat it, and then we got to return it and you're like, oh, we didn't beat it, we got to rent it again next week. But during the week you're back in school and you're just playing outside, doing all things again, because you only have the same games you've always played. Then it encouraged things like trading. So you go to school like, hey, look, I'll give you my Bad Dudes game and I want to borrow your Double Dragon game. And then, you know, that encouraged a lot more social interactivity. Friends would come over, we'd play together in games, right? So it was a lot different than they are now. Why? Simple. So let's just take the TV side. So kids don't watch TV. No one watches TV. What we watch is Netflix, YouTube, Prime, right? Whatever streaming services are out there. And while it's great because it's whatever you want to watch, you can watch it at any point in time. That's for adults that have kind of already figured this out. It's fine. But kids, they have an unlimited amount of video and anything that they want to watch at any point in time forever. So they're never going to be bored with TV. They're never going to be. They're always going to watch random crap, and that's what's going to be feeding into them. It's just going to dumb them down. And everything is catered to just getting those views and maintaining attention, no matter how dumb it is. So they're going to be screaming at you, showing all kinds of stupid shit just to keep your attention for another 3 seconds in hopes for more ad revenue. Same thing for video games. Like I said before, you know, we would get a game every couple months, if that, or rent one, you know, here and there. But now it's like, oh, hey, look, there's all these games for free. They just have ads. Or it's like, even if you pay for one, now you got to pay for V-Bucks and Robux and all these other things, right? To be able to continue to play the game and all this other fun stuff. But there's no limit because you have unlimited amount of games that you can play now. So because there's no limit, there's a few different disadvantages. So one is the boredom doesn't set in. So because the boredom doesn't set in, you're going to be just constantly playing. That dopamine rush is just going to be constantly triggered to just tap things. Very few games now are really catered to actual problem solving and stuff. Some are, but most kids aren't really attracted to those games, right? And the other thing is with video games is they're just trying to just leech you of money for things that are just completely useless. So parents are constantly buying their kids dumb stuff for video games, like, oh, it's only $3, it's only $2, it's only $1, but there's no real interactivity, just pushing buttons. Oh, look at this. Look all this money I made by just going and delivering pizzas all the time. And it's like, okay, your goals are in the wrong place, right? Like this isn't where you should be cool. But the problem is when it gets reinforced from the stuff that they're watching online. Because like, oh, look at this cool thing I built in Minecraft, and this is how much money I made in Roblox, and I did this and that, and now my YouTube channel and all my subscribers, and make sure you like and subscribe and blah, blah, blah. It's like when I remember when I saw, I think my daughter was like around 6, maybe. And she was like, I want to start a YouTube channel. And I thought it was fun at the time. We didn't make one. We made YouTube videos, but we never published them online. We just sent them to family and stuff. And, you know, she thought it was fun, dance videos and all this kind of fun stuff. But 6 years old, at the end of the video, she's going, thanks everybody, like and subscribe. 6-year-old, that's like, she knows how to say that. Like that's the wrong platform. So anyway, fast forward, by eliminating all the electronics, the kids have become normal and way better than I expected. My son has drastically increased his scholastic ability. I mean, massively, in only a matter of like a week. My daughter is out learning new creative things. She's picked up crocheting out of nowhere and is making these little things now all the time. She's now asking me, hey, can this person come over and play? And then my son's like, hey, I'm going over to so-and-so's house. I'm going to go play at his house. Okay, be home by dark. I'm like, this is what we all want as parents. We want our kids to interact with the real world and do real things in real life. And it's nuts because we've always been told, and we all know, kids shouldn't be on, we should be taking away the screen time. They shouldn't be having phones. They shouldn't be in front of a tablet. They shouldn't be in front of a TV. But I never knew how much of a difference it was until I just said, screw it. And we killed it all. And I can tell you this, we are never going back. Never. And I don't think I mean, it's been, I think not even 3 weeks. Let's say it's been about 2 weeks since this new rule has been put in place. And not once have they ever complained or even asked to have any of the electronics back. I don't know what else constitutes success, honestly. So the whole reason I wanted to put this out there, because I know a lot of you that are watching this from the IT side of the world, we're always trying to get our kids in the latest and greatest tech because we're in tech and we find it cool and we want them to have the best future possible. So we're like, oh, we're going to teach you how to code when you're a kid, and we're going to, you know, show you how to make a video, or we're going to show you how to do editing or this or that. And holy crap, was just the basic fundamental thing such a life transforming experience of just removing it all completely. Well, I shouldn't say completely. Like I said, weekends at nights, because there's still room for that, right? There's still room for entertainment and fun and just vegging out. Like I don't want it to be completely gone, because there's something there for that as well. And it still allows them to be, you know, see what's going on in the world and interact with their friends at school. Like, oh yeah, I know what YouTube is. Like, you don't have to be the weird kid. But holy crap, is it a monumental difference. So this whole video is really just for all you parents out there that have kids where they have the phone and they have the tablet and they have a TV in the room or something, you know, and it's just, you've been whittled down over years of little by little by little until where now your kid is just locked in the room staring at a phone or a tablet or a computer screen more often than anything else out there. So if you find that that's what your kids are doing, I implore you, just try it. Just take it all away. Do what I'm doing and just see what happens. Just give it a week. Just see what happens, because I'm telling you, you're going to see such a monumental difference that you're just going to smack yourself in the head and be like, holy shit, why didn't I do this sooner? So please try this out. If you have kids, I don't think my kids are just freaks of nature and they just happens to be going well. This really feels like how it should be. And we've been saying it forever, but do it. Actually do it. Take your kids' electronics away for the majority of the time. And I'm telling you, you're going to have way better kids overall. It's amazing. I'm never going back. So if any of you have ever done this already, and maybe you have better ideas or suggestions or other things on how to make this work, so far, this has been working out great, but I'm always looking for room to improve. Love to hear your thoughts on this. But yeah, I never really knew how toxic it was until I took it away. You know, it's one of those things where you don't know how addicted you are to it until you remove it. Like I've been trying to kill my addiction to sugar forever. It's impossible. I've just given up. I think it's easier to quit smoking cigarettes than it is to quit sugar. I just can't do it. I know it's poison. I know it's horrible for me, but yet every day I'm like, ooh, I'll have a Reese's peanut butter cup. Why would I not want one? So this is just one of those things I think is massively important, because the way I view it, at least the way I tell my wife, I'm like, we're done for. Like I'm 44 years old. I'm surprised I'm alive at this point, honestly, with all the crazy that's happened in my life to where I've gotten to this point. So I'm not really too concerned, but I do have young kids. So now I want to stay alive. So that's why I'm trying to like be healthy. But in the end, I think it's important that we really get the kids off electronics. And I never thought I'd be the one saying that. So try it out. Love to hear your feedback. If you're already doing it, love to hear how it's working out for you. I'm also very interested in horror stories. So if you tried it and it failed miserably and something horrible happened, I'd love to hear what that did too. So let me know. Nidus has just created the first iOS app made exclusively for identity management professionals. It's called Nidus Breachcast, and you can download it now. It's amazing. We have real-time updates of all the latest breaches that are occurring, CVEs as they come out real-time, really pertaining just to identity management. We have media that's going on this podcast. We're going to be bringing in a lot more others as well. And we even have a complete vendor list of all the identity management vendors and all their products, so you can find out exactly where to download their software, all the documentation. And what's even more awesome is an identity management glossary. All those crazy words and acronyms that we can never remember, they're all listed in there for you. No ads, just pure information to make your life simple.